Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Ram Zone, the last one for the semester. And this week I'd like to welcome in Coach Travis Scott, head coach for the softball team here at Angelo State. And Coach, it's been a great season so far.
Yeah, it really has. Like we're sitting at 42 and 11, which playing in the Lone Star Conference, if you can win 40 games, you've had a really good year. Going into this past weekend, there were 5 teams across the country in Division II that had 40-plus wins. 3 of them were in the Lone Star Conference, one of them being us. So, great season. We ended up finishing 3rd in the Lone Star, which again is an accomplishment. The number 1 team in the country's in our conference. The number 3 team in the country's in our conference. We're number 7 in the country. So, shout out to our girls for really stepping up and having a great season.
And talking about it, 40 wins, not very many teams did it. And or the 3rd seed, tough competition in the conference.
Yeah.
And a lot should get out to the regionals. How excited are you for that?
Well, it's one of the worst parts in my mind in Division II is our philosophy of regionalization. So only one of us are going to get to go to the World Series. We have to beat each other in regionals and super regionals to advance to the World Series. There's no way 2 Lone Star Conference teams can advance to the World Series. So to me, that's one of the biggest difference between Division I and Division II. In Division I, you could have 2 or 3 teams from the same conference in the World Series, but here you can't. So the good thing is those 2 schools ahead of us, West Texas A&M and UT Tyler, we've now beaten both of them. So we split with UT Tyler at their place. We got WT yesterday, 7-0. So that was fun, and but they're extremely talented. But we can't look forward to them yet. We've got to make sure that the other teams that are in there in the regional tournament, we got to take it one game at a time for sure. Because in this region and in this conference, anybody can beat anybody.
And talking about on Thursday, y'all played 11 a.m. versus Eastern New Mexico. Y'all are 4-0 against them this season, but it's hard to beat a good team multiple times.
It is, and they're a talented team. We played them just 2 weeks ago, so we had to go to their place and had 2 real dogfights on. We kind of took care. Took a close game in about the 4th inning and had a huge 8-run inning to kind of blow that one open. And then the second game was another back and forth type game that we were able to get them. I don't remember what the final score, somewhere around 12-7 or something like that. But they can swing it, they can hit. They've got 4 or 5 pitchers that they trust, and hopefully we force them into having to use multiple pitchers. And but when you look at us, Cheyenne Floyd has really been sharp here lately and throwing the heck out of it. So, obviously we're going to hand her the ball and hopefully she can go out there and give us complete games. If not, we'll have Amelia Hathorn and the rest of the crew ready to go in relief. But, we're playoff ready. We had a tough preseason. We've played through the Lone Star Conference. We're sitting here with 40-plus wins. So we're healthy, knock on wood. So we're in good shape and ready to go.
And talking about Cheyenne Floyd, she's got a 1.59 ERA this year. But she only had 1 start this year that maybe looked a little different than the rest. One maybe not so great start, the rest incredible. And she's been here for 2 or 3 years now.
This is her 3rd season. Yeah, she was in McLennan Junior College transfer who got the COVID year back. So this is her 3rd season. So she already graduated with her undergraduate, working on her master's degree right now, and what a blessing she's been for our program. Just an incredible season. Which start was the bad one? I can't even remember.
There was just one where the ERA got a little. It
Yeah.
said 21 for the game.
Okay.
But just one little outline.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, obviously it can happen. I'm drawing a blank right now as to who it was, but she's really been sharp lately. And yesterday, she held WT, I think, to 4 hits. And I was reading Nick Rackley's post on the game, and he had come up with a stat that's the lowest amount of hits that they've been allowed in nearly 2 years. I think it was, or at the beginning of last year or something. It's definitely one of their lower hit totals. They were hitting 382 as a team coming into this thing, and she held them to 4 hits. So, and I feel like all of them were singles. That may not be a correct statement, but I think all 4 of them are singles. So, outstanding performance by her and her defensive teammates behind her.
And the defense, I know y'all switch around a lot of players just like Coach Brooks does for baseball. And Avery Gunther the other day, she played all 9 positions, first player in program history.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. She's a glove kid, and the difference between us and baseball is you can take any overhand thrower, and I could put her on the mound for a little bit and go up there and probably throw you a strike or two, and they all probably pitched when they were young, like most of the baseball kids at the college level probably pitched when they were young. But softball's different; it's underhand, so not very many of them can do it. Well, Avery can throw it. She's one of our harder throwers, actually. She's 63 to 64 mile an hour pitcher, so she's pitched all of her life, and we just haven't had to use her a whole lot this year because we stayed healthy, with our other kids. And so it was one of those opportunities where it was an opponent that I felt like we would be okay with Sul Ross, and kind of had a plan. And it's real tough to do it in just 5 innings. So made the decision. It looked like we were going to run them in 5 innings in game 1. So I made the decision, let's just spread it out over that double header, just for fans' sake, not having to constantly go out and call time and move her around. So. But that was fun, she, the cool thing about it didn't matter where I put her, it seemed like the ball found her. So put her in center field, and never played center field before, and the ball's hit over in the gap, and she had to truck it down and go get it, and she did so. Put her at shortstop, and a slapper hits a ball to her, and she has to make the play. So it was a lot of fun to watch her, and just kind of one of those cool little moments.
And then some of the players you have now, it's a different team than you had maybe 2 years ago. Some of the same players, but a lot different. When it comes to recruiting in maybe the portal or out of junior college, what's the difference between those two?
I don't know.
You no idea?
Recruiting has just gotten crazy. Well, the biggest difference between JUCO kids and the portal kids is the JUCO kids, most of your Division I portal kids didn't play a whole heck of a lot in the last year. That's why they're in the portal, where your JUCO kids did. So you get a lot more of recent experience. Not to say that they're better than the JUCO kids that you can get. It's just they're more game ready. Yeah. Probably they've gotten the at-bats, they've gotten the innings pitched, et cetera. So we've always enjoyed that aspect of it. But, sometimes JUCO, the portal kids just were in a bad situation and things didn't work out. They may have had an injury. They may have just been sitting behind a stud, but they were really good players. So there's no one way of looking at it, but that's one thing that we've always kind of looked at is, these girls have gotten a lot of experience in that sophomore year, and they're ready to, kind of train, keep that rhythm going, not having to play catch up.
And then the JUCO level that you've recruited from, you've had a few from McLennan the last few years. There's Cheyenne Floyd, Lindsay Evans, Maddie Walkow. Then there's one more.
Aaron Plunkett.
Aaron Plunkett.
Yeah.
Do you know the coach over there maybe? Maybe get some insight over there?
So small fun fact here, his son actually played on our baseball team that won the national championship a couple of years ago. So yeah, Chris Berry, he used to be the assistant baseball coach at McLennan, took over the softball program, I don't know, probably 6 years ago. And he and I were able to develop a pretty good relationship, and we learned through recruiting Lindsay and Cheyenne that he and I have real similar mentalities on the field and practice and all that, so it's an easy transition for those girls to come play for us. We're actively recruiting 2 of them right now, trying to get them. I don't know if we're going to get them or not, but it's but kind of a fun fact that his son had actually played on Angelo State baseball team as well.
All right, very cool. And talking about some of those recruits, and you get them from JUCO, I know the new ruling came out. You can play 2 years at JUCO and then 4 years in NCAA. Does that account for some of these guys?
Yeah, the rule's not necessarily true yet. So it's all kind of still up in the air for us. As of right now, nothing really changes for us. It could be coming. We do have a couple girls on our team that could still go play Division I next year, but they're not. Their eligibility's out for Division II. So it's kind of a day-to-day thing. So, as of right now, our 10 seniors are graduating, and they won't be eligible to come back next year. But some of them could go play Division I because the Division I is going to not count one of those years where we are in Division II. So it's kind of a messed up situation, really.
And do you see that ruling maybe coming to D2 like D1, and do you like that ruling?
I think I don't like aspects of it. I do like other aspects. One that I kind of could get on board with that's being floated around is just everybody has 5 years of eligibility. Instead of 4, you get 5. And, JUCO's going to count, everything's going to count, but you get 5. That, to me, would clean things up and make it a lot less confusing and all that. But we'll see. I just try to stay in my lane and do what they tell us the rules are, and we'll just have to play with what we get.
Yeah. And then talking about this last season, You've been here since 2004, and this year you got your 1,000th win. What does that mean, getting that win this year?
Well, it's a big number, and it's something that I'm very proud of, and something that makes it a little more special for me is the fact that all 1,000 came in the Lone Star Conference. So when I was at Southeastern Oklahoma, when I began my collegiate career, you had Lone Star North and Lone Star South. So all the Oklahoma schools, even UCO, all of them were in the Lone Star Conference. And so I got 3 years there, I think 101 wins there, and then the others came all here at Angelo State, which of course has been the Lone Star Conference forever. So, playing in one of the top Division II softball conferences in the country and be able to get to that 1,000 win mark is special. And, anybody can coach long enough and get to 1,000. And yeah, I've coached a long time, but when you do the math and the seasons and all that, it comes out to about 40 or 41 wins a year. So that's what I'm most proud of, is the fact that it's been successful years to get to that. It's not, well, you win 20 games for 40 years, you finally got there. No, it averages out to about 40 or 41 wins a year.
And I know Angelo State, they had a story, one of the articles they put on the website, and they did it through the numbers. And what you're just saying, 0 losing seasons in all your time here.
Yeah, that Nick Rackley really did a great job on that article and doing a lot of research, and that was pretty cool to, some of that, the 500th win and the 600th win and some of the big regional tournament games, and that was pretty cool just to reminisce, because I'd forgotten about some of those things, and that was pretty cool to read. And I'll probably print that thing off and hang on to it and throw it in a scrapbook somewhere, because that was pretty cool to reminisce about, some of the name drops that he had of some of the former players. And, I've been blessed with a lot of good players to coach, and all of them, I know I got a lot of messages from a lot of the alumni, and, they're part of that, and I know that's part of their accomplishment. It's not just my accomplishment, it's their accomplishment as well, because they obviously are the ones that went out and actually played and won the games.
And so you also, your wife has also been coaching with you for, I don't know when she started being.
Long time ago,
but she's a big part of that. What was that like, sharing that moment with her?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, because I've got to go back and do the math. She probably is a part of about 700 of those, somewhere in that area code. I can't remember exactly. I think when I got to 900, I did it and figured it out, but I'll have to do that again this summer, sit back and try to figure out how many she's been a part of. But yeah, she's been with me now since she got here in 2007. Yeah, she graduated, 2007. So I was a GA for 2 years, and then our assistant coach left and went back to Arizona, and so we hired Katie, and she's been with us forever, ever since.
And sharing that with her, I know you have coaches that do things that maybe you aren't exactly an expert on. What does she do with the team?
So she's our pitching coach. And yes, you're right. I don't want to deal with pitchers. Yeah, they're a different mentality. So no, she's our pitching coach. She grew up as a pitcher, and she had an uncle who was one of the most highly touted pitching coaches up in the Midwest in Ohio. When she got to college, she quit that and became just a full-time position player. And but she was able to take that knowledge and talk to him a little bit and other things. And she's really become one of the really good pitch callers. And her practice plans that she has for her pitchers are specific to each pitcher, and she challenges them mentally out there in the bullpen. But yeah, she takes care of our outfield and our pitchers, and then I do the infield and the hitters.
And then your playing career, it led you to being a coach as you are today. When did you realize you wanted to be a coach?
Pretty much forever. It's just been in my family. I had an uncle growing up that was a successful basketball coach in the state of Oklahoma, and then my stepfather, he was a successful basketball coach as well. So just always was, I was a gym rat more than anything. I was in the gym all the time, and then, baseball is something that I figured out that I was pretty dang good at, and I was also a football player in high school. But basketball, my knees, the court seemed to start bugging my knees, so I gave it up. my freshman year of high school and went football and baseball. And, you know, we was fortunate enough to win a state championship my sophomore year in high school, and I was done from there. I was bought in 100% on baseball. I continued to play football through high school and had an opportunity actually to go play, had a scholarship offer to go play college football, but it was baseball from there on. That once I won that state championship and got that feeling, and you know, as a sophomore in high school and starting third baseman on that, it was all over at that point.
So you started young in your playing career, started as a sophomore on that national championship team. What's maybe the biggest moment from that season, if you can think that far back to what you remember?
Well, I guess, yeah. So that yeah, it would have been a regional tournament, playing our nemesis at Durant, Oklahoma, and we were behind or tied. I can't remember, in the bottom of the or top of the sixth or something like that, maybe top of the seventh, and I hit a 3-run home run to win that game, which allowed us to get to the state tournament. So that one was pretty cool. And then just great teammates that are still great friends, and you know, we grew up together, and it was a lot of fun. It was pretty special.
And then looking back at it, were you more of a power hitter, a glove guy, contact?
Yeah, I was more of a glove guy. Yeah, defense has always kind of been something I've been really good at. I was fortunate enough in college, my sophomore year at Southeastern Oklahoma, we advanced to the NAIA World Series, and won the Gold Glove out of everybody there. I was the one that they gave the Gold Glove to, so that was pretty cool. I mean, I was a decent hitter, but I struck out too much. I blame it on allergies and contacts and floating and all that. So got to blame it on something, right? But no, I wasn't ever one of the best hitters on my team. In college, I was a 7-8 hole type hitter, but you know, I was more known by my teammates and my coaches for my glove.
And so, growing up playing baseball, you had plenty of coaches that helped you get better as you went on. Do you still talk to any of the coaches you had when you were younger?
Not much. You know, Coach Matheny that coached me in college at Southeastern Oklahoma, he just retired about 6 years ago, and when they would come play Angelo State, I would always make an effort to go over and see him and visit with him, and he just got inducted into all kinds of Hall of Fame. So, you know, some text messages back and forth and Facebook messages and all that. But yeah, my high school coaches, my high school football coach has passed away. My high school baseball coach is he's still alive, but I don't really see him much anymore. And it's not, I mean, we had a great relationship, still do, but that's probably something I need to try to do this summer. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, you got a great season going on. I'm sure he'd love to hear about it.
I'm sure he would. Yeah, I'm sure he would.
And looking back at all of Angelo State this year, all of our sports are right there, winning Lone Star Conference and almost all the sports.
Yeah.
How does that push y'all maybe a little bit more when everybody else is succeeding?
Well, like you said earlier, I've been here a long time, so this is by far, I don't remember a season where we've won as much as we have as an athletic department this year. This has been an amazing season. And when I first got here, and for years, it was softball was going to be really good, track was going to be really good, and baseball was getting to the point of being really good every year. Football was still, soccer was still, volleyball was hit and miss. So this fall, it was kind of like, man, you guys are killing it. And I said, y'all are putting pressure on us spring sport coaches. We're not quite used to that. So luckily, baseball is sitting at number 1 in the country. We're in number 7 in the country. Tracks, both of them, men's and women's, are in the top 10. Tennis had a good year, really strong year going until here recently. They've kind of fumbled a little bit. But golf's, competitive and going to continue to get better. So, yeah, I think the spring sports answered the call pretty good.
And so looking at all the coaches, maybe took some of the right coaches getting in place. Angelo State, around 2015, started hiring some of these new coaches that are still around. How big of a part do you think it is having the right coaches that interact with each other in the building?
100%. Coaches don't win games by themselves. This is kind of what I've always said, and players don't win games by themselves. You've truly got to have that cohesive unit of good leadership, good coaching, good philosophy, and then the players that can go out and perform as well. So, players can go win games by themselves, but they're not going to win at the elite level, and that's what we've got, a good combination with our programs here at Angelo State with quality coaches that are doing things the right way, and then the kids that they can handle and that they can coach and that are willing to buy into their philosophy and go out and get it done on game day. And we're pretty blessed here. You know, I hope our student body understands how blessed we are to have the facilities to go watch our games, and then the coaches and the athletes that we have, because not everywhere is it, and like I said, it hasn't always been that way here. Years ago, I mean, football would go 4 and 6, and there's not a lot of kids in the stands. And you know, toward the end of the year, we're not in that situation now. So, you know, student body participation in athletics and in events has probably gone down a lot over the years as well. And you know, that's something that as coaches and administrators, we're always talking about. What can we do to get our students in the bleachers? And you know, beg and plead, I guess, is what it is. We just, you know, your support is huge for us.
I mean, they get in for free. I feel
You get in for free. You know, you go to big time schools, you got to pay to go to those games. So, yeah, it's a part of your student fee and get you in for free and all that good stuff. So, there's just really not. I mean, I know we're at the end of the year now. Baseball's going to host a regional here in a couple of weeks, and you know, get out and enjoy it and enjoy the weather and root on your classmates that are good athletes.
And looking forward to what y'all have going on. Y'all won't have any more home games, more than likely.
No.
Going to Canyon this week.
Yep.
How excited are you to be up there in Canyon?
Well, never.
Yeah.
But no, we you know, the options were Canyon or Tyler, Texas. So obviously, getting on 277 and heading north is a much easier trip than going across the state, 6.5 hours. So I would rather go there than I would Tyler this week, just because it is a conference tournament. Our standing as the 3 seed in the region shouldn't change. We should be solid there. But, you know, we need to go win. Next week's more important. There's a chance that we could have to go to Tyler next week. And I didn't want to do that back-to-back weeks. But, you know, we played it out, and that's the way it fell. Those two ended up by us beating WT yesterday. It caused them to be in a co-championship situation. But WT had the tiebreaker over Tyler by beating us 3 out of 4, whereas we were 500 with Tyler. So that's why we're going to West Texas A&M this week, and a facility that we're familiar with. It's artificial turf. It's a little bit easier trip, so you know, hopefully we'll go up there and play well.
Just got to go straight north, and you'll end up in Canyon.
You will.
And y'all got them this weekend. Y'all won't play WT until the last round of the conference.
It'd be the second game, actually.
Second game?
Wait, you're right. Yeah, we'd play Tyler in the second round if they win their first game. Yeah.
And so, looking at the WT, if you can get to them, you get to UT Tyler. You like your chances against them.
Well, they're both extremely talented. UT Tyler's can really pitch. They won the national championship last year. They were fortunate that they were able to take advantage of what we were talking about earlier, the Division I, Division II thing. So Division I, long story short, there were kids that were no longer eligible for Division I, but Division II said we'd take them. They got 4 of the top players that everybody was trying to get, 2 pitchers that are really good and are having great seasons, and then 2 hitters that has really taken them to a different level offensively this year. They ruled us at their place in Game 1. And then Cheyenne was able to get them in Game 2. We beat them 3-2 in Game 2 at their place, and that's the only time we've played them this year. But WT, you know, they've had an unbelievable season offensively. They also have 3 pitchers that they trust, but I think Tyler has a little better pitching. Yeah. WT may have a little bit of better offense. It just kind of depends. But both dynamic teams, and you know, us. Oklahoma Christian, Lubbock Christian, Eastern. I mean, you got to go play. But they've had by far the best 2 seasons of all of us in the Lone Star. But we're right there, and we've beaten them both, so we'll be confident going into it.
Oh, yeah, and looking at it, you were just saying that they got a lot of the players out of the D1 this past year. Doesn't it make it a lot easier recruiting here at Angelo State with the facilities they've been putting in? And I don't know if I would choose Canyon over Angelo State, but
well. Canyon also, I mean, WT also has great facilities. They really do. It's a nice stadium. Their football stadium is a premier Division II facility. So it's not just what we've built here. Everybody's doing it. It's become an armed race in the Lone Star Conference. you know, Meyerfield is amazing, but so is WT, so is Tyler's, so is Oklahoma Christian, so is St. Mary's. So, you know, I can go, Western New Mexico has just built, believe it or not, one of the better softball facilities in the country. So it's one of those things where I'm always harping on, we can't just stay put with what we got. We got to keep adding to it because recruiting is a lot about facilities and you know, more than that, we just try to sell the people here in West Texas and in San Angelo and the Concho Valley.
And selling the people here that aren't even college students, just the community, makes it a lot easier because sometimes the stands are more full of the community than it is students, which it shouldn't be. But that's what you see around here. And
It is.
You use that as a weapon maybe when you're in your recruiting tactics?
Oh yeah, we do. We've got videos of from the outfield bleachers looking in. We've got pictures that we try to send, and you know, that stuff matters, and it's important. Anything that we can use as a positive in the recruiting process, we try to use it because, you know, we're battling against a lot of the Division I's in the state of Texas. You have over 25 to 30 programs in the state of Texas at the Division I level. Now we're not recruiting against Texas A&M. That's not what I'm saying, but you know, the UTSAs, the Incarnate Words, Abilene Christians, etc. We battle with those kids for those players, and then within our conference, you know, I feel like here recently, everybody that we've made offers to, UT Tyler's also made an offer to them. So that's kind of become one of our biggest recruiting battles is with UT Tyler. And West Texas doesn't do a lot of Texas. He's from up north, and a lot of their kids are from Wisconsin and Minnesota and South Dakota. So we haven't really been in recruiting battles with WT as much as we have the other Lone Star schools.
And talking about how WT, maybe they recruit from up there, up north, what's usually the furthest that you'll recruit from, or maybe the furthest player you've brought in?
Well, Hawaii. We've had Hawaiians,
Yeah.
so obviously it doesn't get a lot further than that. We've had kids from the state of Washington. Usually they're junior college kids, but we did just graduate 2 years ago, Malaya Burns, who came here and played here for 4 years, maybe 5. Yeah, she was a 5-year kid because of COVID. So that's, you know, I've gotten contacts over all the parts of the country, but really we stay west of the United States because you can go to California, Arizona, New Mexico, and San Angelo is similar, you know, to the terrain, the climate. It's nothing out of there. Whereas if you go east, where they're used to tall green trees and all that, and you bring them out here, they feel like they're in the desert. So, you know, we try. I learned early on that that's just not probably a winning formula, is to try to go to even Houston kids. They come out here and they feel like it's the middle of nowhere. So not that we haven't had some, we have, but for the most part, you know, we try to stay in the western part of the country.
And talking about it, San Angelo is really far from any big city. So do you maybe focus more on maybe 3As, 4As around closer to San Angelo, or do you try to hit those bigger cities?
No, we still try to, you know, we go to the recruiting tournaments where there's 250 teams in the summer, and in the fall, you know, these travel ball stuff. We try not to be too picky about small school or big school. We just try to go get the kids that we think would fit with us, and then we have a chance to get. So we've had kids from, you know, 5A, Flower Mound, Marcus, 6A schools, and then, you know, right now one of our best players, or our best offensive player, Leilana Applin, is from Stanford, Texas, you know, a little 2A school. So we'll take them from wherever we can get them, and you know, it's kind of fun for them sometimes to get to, you know, especially you take the 6A kid, the city kid who comes down here and starts hearing stories about the country kids and what they did on the farm and how they had to work, you know, manually work and all that. It's kind of, you know, you can kind of see their eyes pop open sometimes and go, okay, yeah, I didn't have it that bad.
San Angelo is probably in the middle of a lot of the people you recruit. Stanford, I played them in district growing up, went to Old Forest Sam. Those small town kids sometimes, do you maybe see they might have a little more power on some of their hitting?
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't go that far. I mean, it depends on the kid, obviously. But, you know, the biggest thing is they don't have a lot of the experience facing the top level pitching like the big kids do. So you kind of wonder about, are they going to be able to translate that talent to this level? How long is it going to take them to catch up? Fortunately, with Leilana, it didn't take her very long. She was a second-team all-conference kid last year as a freshman. She better be a first-team all-conference kid this year. If it wasn't for some numbers that some other kids put up this year, she could be an all player of the year. But we got 2 more years with her, which we're extremely excited about. And Tatiana Trotter's had another good year. And again, that's a Lubbock Monterey kid, so that's 5A, I think, or maybe 6A. Having a phenomenal year. We've got kids from Danbury, Texas, that are successful, to Liberty Hill and El Paso, and all over pretty much Texas. But then we also will try to take some kids. We got some kids coming from the state of New Mexico, so we'll take them from wherever they are.
And so, Coach, just real quick, I was going to give you 5-10 seconds to just tell people to come on out to Angelo State sporting events.
Yeah, I mean, really, I kind of said it earlier. You got great facilities and great teams, great coaches. It's a lot of fun, but these student athletes truly feel it when they feel that support and they see those bleachers filled up.
Well, yes, sir. Hopefully we get more out there. I know y'all don't have any more home games this year, but next year, hopefully y'all finish this season strong, maybe get a national championship.
Well, I hope so.
But, guys, thank you for watching this week's episode of Ram Zone. We had Coach Travis Scott, and we hope to see y'all back next semester. This will be the last one of the year. Thank y'all.